Hi, welcome to another video of the Targeted Individual Experience, the Targeted Individual Program. So, a few things has been happening. They are using indirect threats, they always do that. But now it's more so of being arrested as opposed to being homeless or the mental illness thing that they do. And so now it's, like I said, indirect messages of being arrested. And, just want to share this. And again, this comes from psychologicalharassment.com. In that the criminal harassment network strategy. So, according to Marie-France Hirigoyen, psychiatrist, the intent of many emotional abusers is to systematically destabilize and confuse their victim with irrational, threatening behavior that preys on the victim's fear and self-doubt, to isolate and control them, and to ultimately to destroy their identity. And often emotionally abuse build over a long period of time until it becomes so unbearable that victims lash out in frustration and anger, aka hitting back, only to appear unstable and aggressive themselves. So this is the kind of thing that they're doing, right? And then on top of that, using kids, okay, they've been doing that a lot lately, to psychologically harass me in hopes that I'll act out in anger and assault, one of these kids, what have you. This is the things that they do, and they're trying to do, okay? And once I'm not doing that, then they'll start using indirect threats, whether it be the interference of my relationship with my kids or with Pam. Then they'll start using her. Okay. So for the past couple of days, they've been using her to harass and psychologically target me. For example, staring at my crotch. Every time I hold a knife or fork or spoon in my hand, she'll stare at the object in my hand. Now, mind you, I'm trying to be calm, not acting any aggressive way, anything like that. So I know she's not looking at me as if I'm sort of threat. She's looking at me because they're trying to send me a subliminal message. Whatever whatever anchor they put into my subconscious, she's trying to trigger that. Okay, so for example, if I hold a metal fork, she'll stare. If I hold a plastic fork, she won't stare. If I hold one of those metal silver butter knife, she'll stare at it in my hand. Or fork, she'll stare, and I mean stare. When I talk about staring drills, okay, and I've talked about this before, this is what she's doing, okay? And on top of that, being passive aggressive towards me. So that has been happening a lot lately, okay? And 2 days ago, I went to pick up the this was after I did my last video, or must be the day after. So anyway, so I went to pick up the kids from after school, and we were walking back, and these two guys are standing there acting as if they're talking to each other. Well, not acting, they're talking to each other, but they're doing this with a purpose. right? And the purpose is to, again, psychologically harass. And you'll see when I stop playing the video, because the minute I was across the street, getting ready to cross over before the light changed, they kept staring at me, you know? So as I crossed the street, my kids were in front of me, as you'll see in the video. Both of them have their head turns staring at me. Okay? And so at that point, I had my phone in my hand and I started recording. And look at both of them.
Yeah, look at these.
See? They're both staring at me. Let's go back. Look. Both of them head turned towards me, staring at me. Okay? Again, this is a stare campaign that they've been using, and they've been using Pam to do that a lot in the house. When I'm outside, it's the civilian perpetrators. Okay? Now, look at how this guy now, right? He looks up in the sky. Again, when I talk about religious cults, a religious cult, they use a lot of religious themes, you know, trying to get me to pray, try to turn me to their invisible, non-existent God. Whenever they walk past me, they'll look up in the sky. Okay? Some of them will make their hand like when you pray, you close your hand. And so they'll do stuff like that. Okay? And again, as I said, you know, these people, the religious people, religious community, you know, those people who are very religious, they are actively engaged in these kind of psychological programs. Okay, we see through Scientology, we see through the Catholic Church, we see through the Protestant Church, we see through evangelicals. Okay, they all engage in these kind of psychological program. They have their own version of it, but this version that they're all participating in is created by those within the security agency, those within law enforcement, and they use the local and state law enforcement to facilitate the civilian population who are engaged in this. Okay, so make no mistake about it. All right, so you know, stuff like that. So I went to Modell's to bring back some sneakers that I bought for my daughter. Well, a pair of sneakers that I bought for my daughter, and you know, they already knew that I was going to go back there because I tried the sneakers on her yesterday, and they were too big. So I was telling Pam I need to go back to Modell's. So this is how, when you're a TI, you're under surveillance. They listen to everything that you say and do, not just on your phone, okay, but in your house, in somebody else's house. They are listening to you, whether through your listening device, whether through the microchip that's implanted for remote monitoring. So they know every move you're going to make. All right. So again, they leave no stone unturned when it comes to harassing you and surveilling you in the manner in which they do. Okay? And so, again, the use of religious themes. You know, lately, there's been a particular TI who've been emailing me, you know, and that person is very religious. Okay? All of a sudden, I start getting emails from that person. Okay, or on Facebook and a lot of the some of the TI's groups. Okay, you'll find a lot of these supposed to be TI. I don't want to say supposed to be because I'm not sure if they're purple TI, but you start to see them pushing a lot of this religious shit. You know, talking about turn to Jesus and ask Jesus for, you know, let Jesus be a savior and everything. And the funny thing is that there are a lot of TIs who are religious, who pray every day, who pray every night, you know, who feel like they're covered in the blood of Jesus, right? And if you're covered in the blood of Jesus, that sounds totally stupid, all right? And so you hear the sirens, the low key sirens, okay? And so when they say stuff like that, you know, sometimes I just really, and I'm speaking metaphorically, like you just want to slap them in the face, okay? Because you're still targeted. I've known religious TIs who've been targeted for 20 years, and they're still talking about they're covered in the blood of Jesus, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper. But yet, you're on the brink of homelessness, or you're homeless. They've, you know, basically destroy your sanity. Okay? And maybe if you believe what you believe helps you get through your targeting, that's fine. But don't think it's going to stop, because it hasn't stopped. Okay, you're still praying, you don't even go to church because you're being targeted in the church. And then you're going to turn around and say, these people are not real Christians, they're demons. So why are you in church with demons? Or why you still want to go to church with demons? Right? I mean, that's something you really got to think about. And as human beings, because religion has gotten us so brainwashed, okay? It has gotten us so brainwashed. And what people have to understand, religion was created for control. Okay? It is a political way of control. Okay? Because you can't really read your holy books and think the shit that's in it is real. I used to be a Christian. Okay? But I always had questions about those things. So, you know, I just want people to think, not just TIs, but those who are not target individuals, and it's particularly and especially those who believe in these religions. Okay? Because the same people that call themselves Christians, or those who believe in Islam, and they talk about that it's a peaceful religion. Well, if it's a peaceful religion, why are the followers of those religions targeting you? Why are they doing that? So you have to question. And even when you read the book, you can see things inside these books. There's nothing about peace. It's always about war, damnation, burn in hell if you don't believe. You know, and this is what the church did. Okay? This is what the Muslim rulers did. They didn't turn you into a Christian or a Muslim by peaceful means. And if you doubt me, especially if you're a Christian, research the Dark Ages of Europe. Research the Judeo-Christian War. Research the Holy Wars that was created in the name of your Christian God. Well, not created in the name of your Christian God, but man decided that, you know, this is how they're going to spread their religion, because the Bible talks about going to war with non-believers to convert them into, you know, to give them either the Hebrew belief or the Christian belief. Same thing with Islam. Okay? Just want you guys to think. You know? It's not that hard. Okay? So anyway, so I woke up this morning, and of course, immediately as I woke up, I heard fire truck siren, and they stopped, and I went to the window to look, and sure enough, there was a fire truck parked downstairs. And then I heard, footsteps. Then the alarm went off on the roof.
Holy shit. 7, a little after 7 in the morning, these people come to open up the, you hear that noise? That's the door for the roof.
Okay. And I talk about masking their targeting, okay? And there are numerous ways they do this. This, for example, they claim is that someone is stuck in the elevator, okay? That is the claim, right? So when I talk about how the use of civilians to perpetrate and mask the targeting by the fire department or the police department or ambulances or what have you, emergency vehicles, civilians will do that, okay? And so they know exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, and I know exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it. And these masking techniques don't hide the fact that you're still there just to harass and target me, okay? So, like I said, I'm going to expose it. Then also, the guy across the street, okay, all of a sudden, I'm starting to see him, wherever I go. Like I said, I went to Modell's this morning, came out of Modell's. Here he comes walking towards me. I talked about how that day when I was going to pick up the kids, that he was inside Pam's building, and he got in the elevator with me and was trying to have a conversation with me, okay? So basically, and again, right now, what the police are doing, okay, they're just laying back until it's time for them to start to harass me, all right, thinking that I won't be putting out these videos because what they've done is now subtle level of targeting to not, I guess, get my attention so much, in which I will react or started targeting them back. And so again, knowing this will help you in understanding that what they're doing is trying to bypass your defense mechanism, okay? Or it's a way of trying to lessen the emotional damage that they've done to you, okay, in hopes that if you're not reacting to your targeting, all right, that it gives them the excuse to say that you're not emotionally damaged or psychologically damaged by what they're doing, okay? So as I've read, you talk about as I talk about coercive persuasion program and how the architects of this program try to get away with being held accountable for the damages, psychological, physical, biological damage that they do to us as TIs, that they will use methods, okay, deceptive methods, to say that they have not damaged you in any way. And so again, as I read from the psychologicalharassment.com website, okay, this part here. Okay, by confusing, intimidating, and silencing their victims, those who profit, and believe me, they are profiting off of you and I, even your perpetrators. They're getting paid in some way. Okay, the majority, you know, I guess their profitability is thinking that there's some type of you know, Christian soldiers or Muslim soldiers, you know. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. When I think about it, like, I don't understand how people can actually believe that shit, and it is shit. Okay, and I'm not sorry if you feel insulted, and it's because majority of people who are religious don't have the ability to think critically, don't have the ability to question things, because their religion forbids them from questioning. It's accepted, and that's it. If you don't accept it, then there's hell and damnation, and that's how they control you. Okay, so those who profit from these systems evade exposure and prosecution for action recognized as harmful and which are illegal in most countries, such as fraud, false imprisonment, undue influence, involuntary servitude, intentional infliction of emotional distress, outrageous conduct, and other torturous acts. So I want UTIs to remember this, okay? All right? So that's why, you know, when they do this to you, they try to build up within the victim a false sense of confidence, because now you're feeling that, you know, yeah, I don't have to react to these people anymore, and I can go wherever I want, or what have you. So they can say that they have not psychologically damaged you. Okay? And when it comes to physical damage, they will try to deny you evidence of the physical damage that they have caused you. For example, you know, going to the doctor, okay, the doctor dismissing your claims, you know. My brother, who's been to the hospital, I would say almost every week for about 2 months straight, complaining that of chest pains in his heart. You know, they tell him that everything is fine, you know, but yet they'll give him medication, and when he takes the medication, he says that he feels better. So finally, I told him, I said, listen, don't go to the same hospital, okay? Go to different hospital if, you know, you can get there. And he did exactly that. And they did a EKG in his heart, and they told him that there's something that doesn't look right, you know. And so it ended up being that he had, I forgot what he had, but he had an issue with his heart, okay? And for the entire latter half of this year, he's been complaining about chest pains that he had. He went to the hospital. They keep telling him everything, you know, oh, there's nothing wrong, the EKG is fine. Finally, he goes somewhere different to find out, when they do the EKG, that there is something wrong with his heart. So this is what they do, right? This is what they do. They try to hide the evidence of the damages that they cause you, that these directed energy weapons cause you, that the microchip within that is implanted in our minds, okay, the damage that it has caused, they will try to deny you evidence of the damages that they've caused you. Okay? Because they want to be able to do this to people, not just you and I as TIs, but it could be anybody else who would later become a TI. Okay? Then they can damage you psychologically, damage you physically, damage your biology, and they can get away with it. And there's no financial restitution for what for the damages that they've caused you. Okay? You're no longer able to work because you're psychologically harmed or you're physically harmed. Okay? And then when you get or try to go and get disability, they'll deny you, and if you're lucky and you get disability, they'll try to use that as a form of control to shut you up by actively, weekly, daily, sometimes threatening to take away your disability. This is what they do. Okay? This is exactly the things that they do. Oh, what did I just do? Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is what you call insane, right? That the architect of these programs think that they can get away with what they're doing and use psychological threats, sometimes physical threats, even death threats, okay, to coerce you into doing something that you don't want to do, or to coerce you into not doing something that you want to do. Okay? And using tactics as psychological manipulation, setups, frame-ups, to get you to not engage in political activity for those TIs who were political activists or community activists, to not blow the whistle on wrongdoing within a company or an agency. Okay? And if you do those things, they'll continue harassing you. And even if you didn't, they'll still do it anyway. Because they have to make sure that whatever drive, whatever fighting spirit that you have within you as an individual to speak out against injustice, to speak out against wrongdoing, and particularly, this one is particularly for black people, okay? But if you are a black person, okay, who put your people first, they will attack you ferociously also. So this doesn't just apply to we as TIs and whatever they have done to us for whatever reason, okay? And there's a variety of reasons, okay? But it ultimately comes down to this. It's about control, okay? It is about control. And it's about them thinking that they can get away with it. It's about the mass manipulation, the brainwashing of society to accept these things. And if you haven't learned from the past, particularly Germany, slavery, Jim Crow, we're going to repeat it. Okay? And when I see my people, black people, engaging in this type of behavior, it's really disheartening. And it just shows the stupidity of a lot of us. Okay? In following blindly without questioning things. That we may find ourselves back in the days of Jim Crow and slavery. believe that.